Hello and welcome to the Just for Gamers video game podcast.
Alright.
Episode 175, You Legends.
Cheers, buddies!
In this week's episode, we see each other. JfG Ash gets cooking. JfG Alex is an American teen girl now.
Oh my god!
There's a cartridge in space. And finally, I keep it stum about Destiny.
Hello and welcome to the JfG podcast. This is episode 175. My name is Alex and I'm joined as ever by my very good friend Ash. I'm kind of stifling a burp throughout this, Ash.
Good luck.
How are you?
As always, buddy. Feeling good on a Wednesday, sparkling thoughts. Give me the hope to go on. It's podcast night, it's Wednesday night. Time to get tuckered in to some video games, as I believe.
As the saying goes, indeed.
It is the saying, because obviously this week's topic is video games.
It is.
But let's once again, like we said last week, let's ignore that shit and have a little chat about what we've been doing this week, because we've been busy little boys in some sort of way.
We've been having all the fun of the fair.
I saw you in real
terms, like
IRL,
physical, tangible
AFK.
Yes, yeah. we had a good old bit of a cheeky hoedown at the weekend. We did a bit of go-karting, and
that was
then we
very fun.
Oh, that was a good session. That was the best one we've had there for me.
Some new go-karts, which were
and they were grippy, but
they were lovely. I could drive it very well. I didn't spin, not once. No,
almost none of us had any sort of incident.
Almost.
Only one of us got a black flag, and that'd be the old octopizzle there. But it wasn't
too many
his fault.
Limbs. That's what it was.
Yeah, I mean it's difficult, isn't it? I mean you only really need 2 arms and 2 legs, and then you've got these spares, and all bets are off. What do you do?
I don't know. I mean, to be fair to him, I don't think it was his fault from what he described.
No,
some cunt in front of him just brake too early. Obviously, he's allowed to brake early, but, that could have happened to me several times going flat out down that straight. I don't want to think how fast I was going. And then, trying to get around someone, getting so close to them that we're pretty much touching. So, yeah, if he would have braked, he would have been dead.
Yeah, basically, someone emergency stopped right in front of the octopizzle on a straight. He went in the back of them. None of the staff at the track saw what happened, so they just black flagged both of them and gave them some sort of generalised telling off, which was kind of a shame. But yeah, up until that point, it was going very well, and it was a good showing from the shunt, buddy, because we all qualified in the top 7, all 5 of us.
With that,
and then in the race, we finished second, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh,
yeah, all about it, really.
Oh yeah, it's fucking sweet as the punch. It was very, very good.
Obviously, the Funk getting the high spot in the shunt there.
He's a nippy little fucker, isn't he?
He's missing some kind of beer gut that I have.
We've all got one of those except him. And until all of us collectively lose that win, and he still wins, he can take no fucking credit whatsoever for his performance.
That guy, really.
Indeed.
And his non-gutness.
Have you been aching ever since?
My forearms.
My arms?
Absolutely killing the next day. Obviously, I had to drive fucking back home from Kent. It took me 4.5 hours in that blistering heat. It was bloody lovely. Really enjoyed it. Nice. And yeah, my arms were absolutely killing. It wasn't fun.
Also, to pull the muscles here,
there,
and here,
there and there.
The
Enjoy
joints
that,
between the
audio listeners.
those there joints halfway up your arms there, they're a bit of an issue, and that's sort of mainly steer clear of the old racing wheel for the last few days because of it, buddy. And then, of course, we went off down to Funk's house for any neighbourhood funk.
Yeah.
And he'd been stocking up on all of his lovely homebrew beers, buddy.
Oh,
So
shenanigans.
and I think that was the main reason why the Grail was completed. We entered the World Cup on Pez and won
We
first
did.
time.
Won that World
Straight
Cup.
away.
No bother.
Don't even worry about it. There it was.
1 on, 1 off. Liked it. It worked out really well. And can I just say, those beers were fucking amazing. And
Real tasty.
tip of the cap to that guy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Holy shit.
Special. I liked basically everything that he loaded me up with. It was beautiful times, buddy. Good beer,
indeed.
good friends, and winning the World Cup. The trifecta, if you will.
Oh, yeah. The Car Wizard Cup.
Indeed. And amazing foods as well from the Funk, so thank you so much for that.
Nice, buddy.
It's a cracking fucking weekend, and it wasn't the worst hangover either, because
No,
I think
wasn't too bad.
the beers were good and the food was plentiful, so
I
that
ate
kind
a
of
lot.
worked out.
I feel like I put a potato in a sandwich at one point during that night.
That could have happened. I do remember that, actually.
I was like, fuck this, I'm not eating this on the side. In you get. Just get in there, put it all in, and then just eat it, you know.
And then the wonderful phrase from friend of the podcast, Paul, where he literally just, said what he saw and said, "Are you eating a potato sandwich?" And that was that.
I was like,
There you go.
There's other stuff in here as well.
Big whoop. What the
Meats
fun
and
about
everything, but yeah, fuck it, I don't care. I do what I want.
it? Yeah, the whole kit and caboodle, buddy.
Shit-faced.
So yeah, what a fucking great weekend that was.
Yeah, man, it was sweet. I loved it.
I haven't really been doing anything else. I've been just preparing for this little holiday I'm going on.
Lovely.
Away Sunday to Thursday down old Barcelona.
What?
Good time to...
Sunday
good time
to Thursday.
I'm afraid so, buddy. And I've been trying to rack my brains all week trying to work out what that clashes with, and I just haven't really been able to come up with it at this point, but I'm sure it'll come to me.
I can fucking tell you, son.
So yeah, I don't know what we're going to do about that.
We'll work it out. It'll be fine. It might
be
have to
fine.
be another solo venture for me.
Solo venture, or
I'll get
I can
really drunk.
dip in on Friday before game night for half hour or something. Not sure yet, but we'll work it out.
Do a little tidbit one. Oh, okay.
We always pump something out,
We'll
buddy.
do
That's how we,
something, yeah. Fuck it.
that's how we do.
Yeah, Gibbons.
So yeah, other than that, buddy, fuck all from me. So have you got anything else to report this week?
I've found somewhere to live for the next 6 months, so we're moving out of our house on the week of the 20th, which is 2 weeks from now. I believe we're moving into some rented accommodation for 6 months, which I'm not looking forward to, but hey, needs must. Obviously, you need somewhere to live. That will happen.
Crucially important.
Yeah, it is.
Is it kind of same area as where you are?
Yeah,
or,
same-ish area. It's not too far to go, so that's always good. Internet's should be sorted out, so I should be good.
Nice.
Yeah. What week do you go away? Is it the week before the 20th? Or is it on the 20th?
When I go where?
Oh, holiday.
Oh, this Sunday.
Oh, is this? Oh, okay, so mine's the week after where I might not be available. I don't know.
Okay,
We'll
you
see.
could have two solo shows, one from him and one from me, ladies and gentlemen.
We'll see what happens. Who knows?
Exciting times.
And then you can play them side by side. And it'll sound really fucking weird.
At the same time.
It'll make
Sounds
no
perfect.
sense. Yeah, the only other thing that I need to report on, buddy, is that we've got on the old Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare 4, whatever that one's
Black
called.
Ops.
Black Ops 1,
Black
4,
Ops 4.
12T. Yeah, we're on the beta for this weekend, so we'll have to give it a brush.
Yeah, Gibbons, buddy. I'm not
heard
around
good
for game
things.
night this week, but I'll be on
What?
Saturday. Yeah.
You cunt.
I'm at a wedding on Friday.
This
so-
guy just has no things. I was going to go for remorse, but it's not remorse because that's after.
I have no remorse.
He's got no
The fact
remorse.
that I don't miss many game nights, but
He
I am
just
missing
doesn't
this
care.
one, unfortunately. So
I just don't know who you are.
It's not my wedding, and the person whose
I
wedding
feel
it
like
is-
I'd be invited to that. Hopefully, maybe
I think
not.
so. Yeah.
I mean, if you don't, I'll be all right with it.
These fuckers who are getting married, buddy, there's a flagrant disrespect for game night.
Cunts.
No understanding whatsoever. So, in the words of Telltale Games, Alex will remember that. But there we go.
Fucking no.
So yeah, I'll get on for Saturday though, play some COD. I don't know when it goes live. I think it's live already for some people, but I'm not sure who.
13th.
I know there's some people playing it because I saw some like impressions of the COD beta videos.
Yeah, it was live last weekend. And I think it's taken a week off and it's going to be live again this weekend. Because I think the PlayStation got like a week early access to the beta. Because, you know,
classic
Sony being the dominant force, they have all the money, and that's the reason why they get stuff before others. Science.
Little Phil Spencer having a little sob into his socks.
Yep, his socks.
So, unless you've got anything else, buddy, I suppose we should, move on. Yeah. I suppose I will ask, though. I just will quickly ask, buddy. What are you drinking this evening?
I'm on the Hop House 13 this evening. I splashed out. Yeah, look at me.
Celebratory drink.
Yeah. I've had a couple of Green King, though, before, so I'm all right.
Okay.
Got to get it in. You know, it's like I've got to get my daily fix of the cheap shit, and now I'm like, yeah, let's spruce it up.
Spruce moves.
Indeed. What are you drinking this evening, buddy? Chappy happy?
I'm drinking...
Happy chappy?
No, I've got a couple of bottles of Peroni.
That's nice.
I'm drinking at the moment. And then if I'm still going after that, which of course will be the case, then I might move on to gin and tonics.
He's going for the G&T.
I find that whatever you drink first, if you follow it with a couple of G&Ts, it's there's something about the mixer, the freshness kind of hydrates you. It does counteract the old beery hangover quite nicely.
I've heard about that, yeah.
It's worth a punt. So yeah, there you go.
Nice.
Cool, buddy. Well, in that case, as you did mention before about the topic being video games, we should probably go and talk about what we've been playing. So, do you want to get the ball rolling this week, buddy? What have you been playing?
Standard Destiny 2, obviously. I won't linger too long. I've been working on my Moments of Triumph and the Quantum of Solace, whatever it's called, I don't know. That stuff.
That shit Bond film, yeah.
It's all going on right now. There's been all kinds of fucking streams and news about next year's stuff, but I believe that people want me to stop talking about this now. So,
what gave you that impression?
I don't know.
We'll get to that later in the show.
So I'll put it on hiatus for a couple of weeks until the new DLC drops.
Yeah, and then fucking power right in the case.
It's coming right at you. I mean, it's going to happen. I'm sorry. Can only apologise. But luckily, I have fucking been playing the shit out of another game this week. Check me out.
And what game is that, buddy?
It's a game that got released this week, and that's Overcooked 2, buddy. The second edition of the Overcooking.
Did you pick that up on the Switch?
Yeah, I backed that up on the Switch.
He's backed it up. Lovely.
On the Switch,
lovely.
Yeah, after buying it.
So, I've seen a fair bit of this, and obviously it is kind of more of the same, but with lots of sort of funny levels and extra mechanics and stuff. A little bit more polished as well, by the looks of things. So, how have you been finding it? And have you played it with, like, 4-player with the whole family? First impressions, buddy. What do you think so far?
I mean, I was a huge fan of the original Overcooked, so that's going to sway it in my favour of being a good game, which it is. It is a very good game. It's put together very, very well. Like you said, it's a hell of a lot more polished than the previous game. Say, like, the menu system's really nice, and, like, the map. So how this game works is you're in a little bus and you're on a map and you have to drive the little bus, like top-down view, to the next destination where you have to do all your cooking. And in the original Overcooked, that was nice. It was like, oh, that's a nice little touch of like traversing where I need to go to. But they've kind of like added little things and like animations and things to this to just make it, like you say, more polished and just super cool in a way.
Yeah, it's like a proper little overworld now.
Yeah,
isn't
it is.
Like
So like there's like 3D-ness to it. So there's like little ramps you can go up to different areas. So there's like secret unlockable areas, which like it's not really a spoiler because they tell you that within the first 3 levels, kind of thing. So that's kind of cool. They've got like added like additional like hidden levels, which is cool. More stuff to do is always good. But what I really like is like the little animations. So like your little bus or little truck goes over water. Some little it turns into like a little boat with like flotation devices on either side, which is cool. Then when you go up like into the clouds, like it turns into a little airplane. It's lovely. It's really,
nice.
Yeah, man, it's really cool. It's just like stupid little touches like that, and I'm like, yes, that's nice. That's really good. Now, down to like the actual gameplay. Yeah, it's very similar to the previous one. Cut stuff, fry stuff, boil stuff, put it all on a plate, send it out, get your plates back, wash them up, rinse and repeat, follow the orders, go round again. One thing they have added... well, they've added a couple of things. They've added an emote wheel, which is pointless in my sense. I guess if you're playing online with randoms, which I don't think you would ever do with Overcooked 2, then yeah, you can use it to communicate to each other. But I mean, if you're going to be playing this game online, you'd be talking to the other people, I'm guessing anyway. But the main difference is you can throw stuff. And this is
okay. That sounds quite useful, but also dangerous.
Oh, it is. It's brilliant, and it really comes into like some of the level design as well. So, firstly, I'll talk about like just throwing in general. So, it took me a little while to like get used to it, but after a while, you hold down the top button, so either triangle or Y on the Switch. And kind of like when you do like a manual pass in PES, like you get that the reticule around the player and an arrow pointing which way you're going to do it. Yeah, I think that's how it works in PES. It's been a while since I've done a manual pass.
No, it does. Yeah, if you hold that left trigger down, then yeah.
So then obviously you can aim it, and then obviously when you let go, it throws it. So what you can do, you can throw stuff to other people and they can catch it, which is really cool. But what I've been trying to master is throwing stuff into pots and pans. Now this is like fucking next level Overcooked, I'm feeling, because it's good to like practice this on like some of the first levels, because it's like, you know, you can't fuck it up too much. Like you're just throwing it, it's either going to go in the pot or pan or just fall on the floor or maybe land on a counter. You know, you can throw pots and pans onto like not pots and ingredients. Yeah, that's another thing. You can't throw pots, pans and plates and stuff like that. You can only throw ingredients.
That kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it does kind of, in a stupid way. Just throw the food, because it doesn't matter if it goes on the floor. It's going to get cooked in it. That's my philosophy, I guess.
Yeah, plates might break if you chuck them, so you can't do that.
You don't want to be doing that. Yeah. So yeah, it's trying to get the range right, so it can land in the pots and stuff like that. Which is really cool. So what they've done now is made these sky levels, or levels with gaps and holes in. These were kind of in the original game where there was bits where you had to like navigate yourself around so you didn't fall off the edge and things like that. So in these ones, there's like just gaps, and you just have to literally throw them across, and then like your other person's on the other side, and you start cooking with them. It's just made it so much harder for young children to play this game.
I mean, it's going to end up being real sort of MLG skills to get like the leaderboard scores with the ultimate throws and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
that's where it's going to really kick in if you want to take it that seriously. But it's totally changed the game for me. But you could totally just play this exactly the same. You haven't got to throw it. I mean, obviously, in some certain occasions, you do have to throw it across gaps, but the majority of the time, it's just right. Run over there, chuck it in, run back, cut this, do the same stuff. And yeah, they've clearly thought about the level design as well with this aspect, like the new mechanic in there. And yeah, they've pushed that franchise forward in a way that I didn't think would happen. And it's really, really good. And yeah, I've been playing it 4-player co-op with the missus and the kids. It's actually stopped me playing Destiny for like 3 nights this week due to the missus has been like, can we play some Overcooked 2? I'm like, sure, fuck it, let's do it. I'm on it. So yeah, it's been loads and loads of fun, and yeah, I'll be going through that pretty sharpish, I believe.
Yeah, man, keep us like posted on your 3-star runs and everything, and I'm sure
so far we're literally when it's just me and the missus, we're like, if we get 1-2 stars, we're like straight back in on that one. Let's get 3 stars, then on to the next one. She's quite the completionist, I must say.
Well, there's a lot of people who listen to this show who are definitely going to be interested in that, like, you know, with kids and so on. So, yeah, I'm just really pleased that they've, like, that throwing thing. It doesn't sound like maybe a big deal if you didn't play the first one, but it is a big deal, and I'm really glad that they kind of, as you say, took it further and did something with it. They could have easily just churned out an identical game with another sort of 20 levels.
Yeah, but I mean, if we were talking about like a first-person online shooter or something, would be like, oh yeah, the meta's totally changed.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, man, it's a really cool game, and definitely worth picking up. If it's on all consoles. I think it's coming to PC soonish, or it's out on PC as well. I don't know, to be honest, but yeah.
Yep, yeah, pick it up wherever you like.
Couch co-op at its best, buddies.
Gibbons, full blown.
Yeah, so I've been dabbling in a few other things on the Switch, but nothing that I really have enough to talk about. So I'll probably have one to talk about next week if I get some hours into it. I got one thing that happened this week with Switch hackerooning is that you can install like the latest firmware games on lower ones now. So like I've stuck on 4.1. The latest one is 5.1, and a lot of games I couldn't play. But yeah, there's ways around that now. So you can play them backups that you couldn't play before.
Lovely, lovely.
Which is nice. Very handy.
Yes, sweet. That does open things up somewhat, doesn't
yes. It? Yes, it does.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, that's me for this week, buddy. Apart from that, obviously pairs and stuff like that. So what you been up to, buddy? What you been playing?
Firstly, I've been playing Mafia 3, but I'm going to pop that to one side because Funk weighs in on that in his little section, so I'll save that until then. I'll talk about Mafia 3 later on in the show. But obviously it was PS Plus, so everyone's got that who's got the live subscription service, and I'll have a word about that. Speaking of other games that have been PS Plus in the past, buddy, this is a little bit of a weird one. I'm not sure anyone expected this in my section this week,
I
buddy.
fucking didn't.
I've been playing Life is Strange.
What, the first episode, or
I've completed episodes 1 and 2,
Okay.
and I'm working my way through episode 3 at the moment.
Because as I remember, at the end of episode 1, there's a big fucking tornado or something. From what I remember.
Well, that's kind of imminent throughout.
Ah,
Yeah.
shit.
So,
go for it, please.
I completely bounced off this game the first time round, and that's mainly because I don't think it's for me. I don't know if it hits its target audience either, though.
Yeah.
Like the thing about this is the language. This is basically Twilight the video game.
Sign me up.
That's kind of what's going on. It's butterfly effect in that you've got this power you can rewind time, so you make a decision. If you don't like it, then you can go back and change it. But it's essentially a teen drama with all of the annoying teen drama language and all the sort of amaze balls fucking BFF, like it, I'd probably describe it as a Funk's nightmare in terms of its sort of like, because on top of that it's all story, like very little in the way of actual gameplay and mechanics and stuff. There's a lot of sort of repetition because that's kind of the nature of the game design and the main mechanic. But I played that Awesome Adventures of Captain Spirit thing.
Oh yeah, you did, didn't you?
And I sort of said at the time, like, I really like that they're making these games, even if they're not like necessarily for me. And I just felt like I needed to go back in because there's so much to love here. If you take away the slightly awkward, sort of weird dialogue that you get in places, Graphically, it's really quite pretty, even though it's a little bit low res. I know that they've worked a lot on that, and the second one's coming out, I think, before the end of the year. It looks much nicer, but the art style kind of carries it through. It's very, very pretty. A lot of the dialogue is actually genuinely very good, and a lot of the voice acting is excellent in this game, even though some of it is shambolic, which is kind of weird.
Love it.
There's just there's something about the mood that Life is Strange somehow manages to create, and I think it does it because there's a lot of direction, like movie style direction, and an incredible soundtrack in every episode. You've got like 3 real fucking hairs on the back of your neck songs in there. Maybe it's like Jose Gonzalez or something like that. And they've really nailed that. Obviously, the might of Square having the sort of fundage to license these massive songs.
Yeah.
And that does wonders. Like, that makes a massive difference. It's not the only game I'll talk about this week that where the soundtrack kind of elevates it above itself a little bit. But all in all, it's just quite an interesting little game in kind of an early Telltale kind of way, where you've kind of got some quite interesting story beats and stuff, and a little bit of comedy. There's something about it that I quite like, and I also quite like that it's pretty Moorish in a sort of soap opera kind of way, but you can cane through an episode in about an hour. So the whole game, can't be more than 5 or 6 hours long, and it's quite relaxing to play through. You can just kind of veg and, make your choices and stuff.
Yeah.
And then at the end, it shows you, in again, sort of Telltale old school kind of way, what choices you made in comparison to the rest of the world or the people on your friends list and so on. Yeah, I don't think there's anything new here. There's no real reason why I'm suddenly playing this when I wasn't before. I just thought it deserved another shot. And, despite the fucking corny teenage dialogue, I'm quite enjoying it.
Nice.
Quite nice.
Something different, buddy.
Yeah, Gibbons. So, as I said, I was about halfway through the first episode anyway, the first time round.
Yeah.
That was PS Plus, I think, the episode 1.
I think we bought it.
We bought the rest of them, that's why they're there.
Okay.
I popped onto your account the other day and sent them all to my console.
Nice.
So yeah, I've downloaded all 5 episodes. And, as I said, halfway through the third one at the moment, so looks like I'll go all the way to the end, and I'll probably have some more to say about it next week. But,
cool.
Yeah. Very briefly, God of War, I'm mopping up now for the platinum. I decided to take on the platinum, because, it's a game that me and the missus both enjoy, like, playing, and we're sort of running through with, like, the Raven Collection guide sort of thing.
Okay,
so
yeah.
There's all of that end game stuff. I've done all the Myst stuff now that I was talking about last week and got all the gear from that. So I'm basically 3 trophies away now. Whoa. 2 or 3 trophies. But one of them is to defeat the Queen of the Valkyries. And so far, I haven't managed to get her below half health, despite having this resurrection stone where if I die, then I can come back to life with full rage. I haven't got her below half so far. I've got some new gear since I tried that, but it might be too much for me, genuinely. I don't think I'm that good at the game.
You need to see some strap videos on YouTube.
I will have to watch some guides. Yeah.
There'll be a way to cheese it.
It is rock hard. But I will work it out. The thing is, if you're not like a big hack and slash fan, then I think you end up being more hack and slashy.
Yeah.
I know that sounds a bit weird, but if you're kind of used to these sorts of games, you're much better at knowing when to attack and when to defend.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm very much like wailing on people. Yeah, exactly. Like fucking ridiculous.
I'm a fucking god. You should
exactly.
die. Yeah, that's what it is.
And then suddenly she does you for half of your health in one attack that you should have just sidestepped.
Nice.
That's the problem. So yeah. So the only other one, other than Mafia, which we'll get to later, the PES demo came out today. It was live dead on midnight last night, which is a first for Konami.
Oh, wow.
Normally it's like 7 in the morning or something. So this is the PES 2019 demo. which features exhibition mode with like 12 teams. It's got co-op mode, but it's offline co-op mode. So they've put the online co-op that we've been playing on the current game. They've made that available as an offline mode as well. So even if you're playing offline with friends, you still get your 3 bars at the bottom tracking your progress, which is a nice touch.
Yeah.
I like that. And then the other option is online quick match, which literally you pick your team, you hit go, and it match makes you with a dude, a person, whatever.
Chumbo.
So those are the options on the demo. It's it's one of these where and I remember last year saying originally when the PES 2018 demo came out, it's fuck all of an upgrade. I don't think it's going to be worth picking up.
Yeah.
And then about 20-30 games of it later, I was like, actually, there's loads here. It's all just a bit nuanced, and going back to the previous game was miserable.
Yeah.
And that's when you know that they've kind of achieved something. In terms of everything else, though, like the effects, the visuals, the sound. The sound's a tiny little bit better on the effects, but most of that shit, man, it just looks like retextured rather than anything else.
Awesome.
I don't see any improvements to like the graphical fidelity of this game.
Yeah.
It's the same engine. It's exactly the same. They've just tweaked the mechanics. There's more animations, like lots more animations, so the players all look smoother. And because of all those animations and them continually working on getting rid of all button lag, when you're playing it offline, it feels so snappy and really nice.
Yeah, because that was one of the big changes with, what was it, PES 17?
Yeah, that Fox engine came in and everything kind of felt pretty snappy, but there was a little bit of sort of button delay in places where it wasn't maybe quite. And they've kind of been refining that ever since. This is real bang on. And also the player switching. I've noticed they've gone a hell of a long way to sort of remedying these occasions where you hit switch player and it picks some fucking dude like all the way up on the wing or whatever.
Nice.
It seems to me that they've nailed that now. Like every time you hit that switch player, it picks out the one you want. Other than that, everything feels a little bit heavier and a tiny, tiny bit slower. But the biggest thing that I've noticed early doors with the demo is the AI, man. They have stepped up that AI.
Oh, really?
I normally play on top player on PES 2018, and I tend to win comfortably by 2 or 3 goals on that difficulty if I'm like really trying and on form. This is real tough. The computer defense, it holds its line, it holds its formation incredibly. I was playing as Liverpool against like the sort of lower ranked teams on there, like Colo and Flamengo. And they were really holding that defensive line. I was counterattacking and getting onto the edge of their box and hitting like these 2 solid banks of 4 and just really struggling. And they've also tweaked the dribbling and the close control. And I think they've made it easier to tackle. It's easier to take the ball off of people now. So waddling is I would say trickier. Now, obviously, this is all from... I've played maybe 10 games of it so far. Yeah. So it's fairly early doors. But it seems to me, buddy, that it's harder to dribble on this version of the game. And the close control button, it feels kind of like the ball isn't quite under your spell as much. I mean, it feels more realistic and slightly less gamey. Yeah. And that's either a positive or a negative, depending on what you want.
Exactly. It's down to what you want, isn't it?
I did dabble a little bit with the manual controls. I played a couple of games earlier with the pass assistance on manual and the shooting on manual. And I found the passing actually to be obviously really difficult. Like 1 in 6 of my passes was to no one. But a lot of the time I was able to like thread the ball through little gaps that you wouldn't normally be able to if it was running on that track that it does for standard users. And the shooting seemed pretty reasonable as well. Like it wasn't especially difficult because I think we're pretty savvy with our shooting anyway. So it was kind of going where I was expecting it to go. But obviously I haven't been playing like that on the old game, so it's not really a point of comparison. You'll have to give this a go, see how you feel about it.
Gibbons?
We're probably going to buy it anyway.
Yeah, we'll buy it.
It's a fucking shame that FIFA can't get their shit together and get that game out a little bit earlier, man, because it would be genuinely interesting if those 2 demos were available before PES came out.
Yeah,
so we could try them.
You could try them out, yeah. That's all you want, isn't it?
But it's a good fortnight after PES releases that the FIFA demo launches, which obviously is a smart move from Konami, who are the underdog, the fucking David of this.
Say, yeah.
But yeah, early impressions. It's another iteration. It's another example of a game that is, they're constantly iterating on it, and it's getting, 8 to 10% better each year, and that's either good enough for you or it isn't. I mean, the sort of work that has to go into the engine, the sort of turnaround that they've got, if you think about when they finish like patching and finalizing the release, it could be into sort of November time before the whole team is working on the game that comes out the following August. And then, I mean, the demo that we're playing, I know that it's a build from May, the demo that we're playing. So, all the stuff behind the scenes, it has to be considered here in terms of these games, and the fact that they're a much smaller studio than maybe the EA studios are, for example.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I don't see it as massively different. Like, you look at a game like PES now, or a game like Destiny, where there's a season pass coming out for the price of a game, and it's hard to not compare the two, really. I mean, one of them is a football game that's iterating on itself. It's getting slightly better. There's slightly more content or whatever, but it is essentially the same game. Yeah. And you could call that could be the exact same description of a like year 2 season pass as well. Yeah. So it's not a massive difference between the two, and the price is the same.
It's so weird, isn't it? I don't know. I don't understand why they don't. I don't know. I guess like if there's being able to put a new disc every year means that they're in the shops, and then people buy them from the shops, I guess. Whereas if it's a DLC, it's you're not going to buy that from the shop, really, are you?
No. I think it may well change in the future, but I think every time it does, it becomes smaller and smaller. The leaps forwards. I think if you looked at this 10 years ago. A lot of people would look at this PES 2019 and they would basically say this is unacceptable. Yeah, this isn't a big enough leap.
Yeah.
I remember the days of old with PES when a new demo came out and it had changed so much that you were a fucking complete seasoned veteran on the last game, and this one kicked your ass for the last
exactly.
Like, for the first 50 games, the computer was just wailing on you until you sort of worked out, okay, this is like slightly new engine and different this, different that, and the other.
The gameplay can be completely different, and then you have to find which ways of beating the computer in whichever way, shape, or form it may be.
Yeah,
in a way.
Yeah. So yeah, this is all nuanced. I've probably said enough about it. A lot of people are probably bored now, but it is certainly a better game, and because of the nature of the fact that I play thousands of hours of my football game every year, I've more than had my fill of the last one, and I'll more than have my fill of this one. So it's going to be a day one purchase for me. But certainly, if you're not a big football fan. In the same way that we buy sort of an MLB The Show game every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
There's really no need to pick this thing up if you're just a casual football gamer.
Yeah, or pick it up when it goes in the sale in a few months or something, half price.
Yeah, which it will. It'll drop down below sort of 35 quid before Christmas.
Yeah,
if you can wait. Yeah. So yeah, that's me, buddy. Unless you've got anything else, we should probably move on.
Cool.
And now it's time for the news. Number one.
Number Wang.
Fun and Games at IGN, buddy.
This
don't
was
know if you've been following this week. Earlier this week, a game came out. It was called Dead Cells. It was out this week, last week, so you'll have known
Apparently
that it was coming
really
out,
good.
buddies. I've heard very, very good things from various different reviewers. Yeah, it looks great actually, and it's been reviewing brilliantly, like tens it's getting all over the place. And this story relates to some reviews, buddy. A smallish YouTube channel. I didn't really know what to call them without being derogatory. They got fucking 35,000 more subscribers than we do.
They're small time, buddy.
Smallish in comparison to
We're non-existent.
IGN, but an absolute Goliath in comparison to us.
Indeed.
Smallish YouTube channel, Boomstick Gaming. They posted a review of Dead Cells, and then shortly afterwards, IGN posted a review of Dead Cells, both in video and text form. And what they do now at IGN is they have a written review, which someone then narrates over footage of the game. I've always found that a little bit odd, and it also means that all IGN reviews kind of sound like shitty infomercials.
I love
because they're just some dude with like what the Americans would consider a radio voice, just literally reading off of a sheet of paper.
Yeah.
So anyway, Boomstick Gaming discovered that the review that IGN posted had some very interesting similarities to the Boomstick Gaming review. And I mean, I thought was amazingly gracious about this. Like, didn't go like with the current sort of fucking worldwide culture of this is an outrage.
Yeah.
The dude just sort of posted a video saying, like, not to be like hating, and I'm like mildly flattered perhaps, but this dude's essentially just copied my review, and what do you think I should do about that? And he posted that on his channel. It was literally like fucking high school plagiarism.
Nice.
As in,
Big fan.
someone's copied your homework and changed the odd word.
I like it.
So this is IGN staff writer Philip Miuchin. I think that's how it's pronounced. IGN published the video review featuring whole paragraphs almost identically worded. Here's an example for you that I picked out. This is from the Boomstick video. Dead Cells only falters slightly with some repetition setting in, especially on early areas and during longer play sessions. And here's the IGN review. Dead Cells does falter slightly with some repetition, but it's only felt in its earlier areas and during extended play sessions. So
Very similar.
That's almost identical. There's like 3 or 4 words changed. The whole review is not even just the content of the review, but the structure of it is identical. The guy was able to play and pause the 2 videos side by side, and each paragraph had been ripped off by the IGN reviewer as well.
He's done well.
So yeah, really weird. He didn't really know what to do. IGN then took the video down and the article down, and released a statement saying that they take these things very seriously and the matter will be looked into internally, and they're taking it down while they do that. And then it was announced today that the staff writer has now been fired, and IGN have posted an official apology. But the baffling thing here to me is, buddy, why on earth would you think that you would get away with something like that? As a staff writer at IGN, the biggest games media outlet on earth.
Everyone's going to... Well, not everyone's going to
in this day and age.
A lot of people are going to watch that review and be like, oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. And then a smaller percentage of people are going to watch the other one. But then a percentage of those people are going to watch both of them. And word might get back.
Of course it will. In a world where, like, everyone who is the target audience, the Venn diagram of video gaming, like everyone's on like Reddit and NeoGAF, like, or not NeoGAF anymore, but you know what I mean, like these sort of these forums. I don't see how he thought he was ever going to get away with this. It just seems crazy to me, or quite why he did it.
I don't know.
He must have just like been like, "Oh, it's fucking deadline." Like,
Yeah,
it really
I need something.
It pisses
so
me
let's
off,
just grab
man.
this and fucking chuck it up and change a few words. Fuck it, it'll be alright.
That's a dream job for a lot of us.
Yeah, man.
You know, so to abuse your power like that and rip off someone else's hard work, like, it's fucking disgusting. I don't see how he ever gets back into this industry. This guy will never be trusted again. Surely, it seems insane. I don't really understand it. The good news is the guy was fired. The other good news is that Boomstick Gaming has gone from less than 10,000 subs to over 40,000 subs because of this. So I suppose they at least get that. They got something out of it. Massively expanded their audience, and I watched his review, and it was pretty good, pretty on point. Nice. So it did make me want to play that, to be honest.
That's not good.
It does. So yeah, there you go. That's weird. Cool. Number 2, a little bit of FIFA news. Firstly, they've picked up the Chinese league license, which is fine. I'd rather have the Scottish Premier League license, buddy, or the Turkish league, or the Danish league, or the Allsvensson. But Chinese is fine, I suppose.
I guess.
But news on various new options in exhibition mode. This was something we were actually talking about when we were down at Funk's at the weekend. Some really interesting little stuff they've added here. And I'd like to see more of this, because it can't be difficult to program in these like funny little features, but it just adds a bit of variety and excitement. So the sort of standout mode here, and obviously it's being compared to the Battle Royale games to a degree, because they're kind of all sort of au fait at the moment, so that's kind of the way it goes. Each time you score a goal, you randomly lose a player from your team.
Yep.
And the aim is to basically have the match abandoned. So in modern football, if 5 players are sent off and a team is down to 7 men, then the game will end with the opponent winning. But in this game mode, if you get rid of all your players, then you win. But obviously each time you score a goal, you're slightly handicapped a little bit more because you lose another player in the process. I think that's really cool. I really like that. I could see that being a brilliant like party game fun. And it's something we genuinely would play like on game nights and stuff if it was an option to do it online as well.
Yeah.
It's a cool mode, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
it's...
I read somewhere, I think it was a game mode in the original FIFA Street. I think they said that's where we got the idea from. Instead of all this.
Yeah, because they were keen to say that they weren't just ripping off Battle Royale.
Yeah, exactly. And putting it in FIFA, obviously. I mean, so, yeah, fair dues. If that is where it came from, then, yeah, that's cool. But, yeah, it's anything, I guess, to put in football games to make them, just fucking spice it up a little bit, Hey.
Yeah.
Why not? 5-a-side, who'd have thought it? That'd be a good game mode.
It would. I mean, it's nice as well. Like, it's the opposite of the COD kill streaks where do well and get rewarded like by doing even better. Like, I always never sat well with me. Whereas this is the sort of handicap you want, so that if you've got 8 players to 11, having scored 3 goals, then that's a real challenge for you to keep scoring more goals.
Yeah,
but then maybe you'll concede one and then they'll lose another player. I think it could be really fun. I like that. There's a few other custom modes and stuff as well. And they've done sort of custom commentary and cutscenes for all of these as well. So in this mode where if you score a goal, then the player's sent off, they've mocapped the player like walking off, looking all around like fucking baffled because he's not been red carded, but he's being told to leave the field of play. And then you've got the official commentary team like Martin Tyler and Alan Smith going like, and of course off he goes as this is of course survival mode or whatever. So it's just like totally po-faced. That makes it even funnier. Nice. There's a few other options as well. Turning off the ref is one of them, so you can have like no rules matches.
Brilliant.
And this one, which I think would be fucking fantastic as well, they literally added headers and volleys mode, so you can only score with headers and volleys.
That's well good. They should play it in like just one half as well, just with one keeper.
That would be great,
so
wouldn't
good.
it? I watched a video this week because I'm a sad cunt of someone playing FIFA. I think it was FIFA 11.
Yeah.
Master, like the career mode on there, manager mode, I think it was called at the time. And they were listing all of the features that FIFA 11 has that FIFA 18 doesn't.
Cool.
Like all of the things EA have like tossed out over the years.
Yeah.
Like on that game's manager mode, you could pick a ground sponsor at the start, and there were 3 different. Do you remember this? There were 3 different to choose from.
Yeah,
and they came
depending on how well you did, you got more money, or from. They made it like to get the more money, you had to do really fucking good, kind of thing.
Yeah, and they had options to expand the stadium as well, and you could hire scouts so that the players like trained better and their stats improved quicker.
Yeah,
you
there was more of a management role, like like football manager game. Like
you could choose ticket prices, like low, medium, or high.
Yeah.
And then obviously, if you set them high and you started doing badly, then you'd lose loads of money because fans stopped coming and stuff. Is all of those things are not in either of the football games now, and they were really cool. They were really cool things. But this looks more sort of party-based stuff. And I'm a massive fan of that. Like, I wish Konami would do something similar. So, yeah.
Yeah, just make it silly like Rocket League.
Gibbons, just have some of that in there. It's po-faced enough in, like, Ultimate Team mode.
Put the goals, like, 10 foot in the air. Why not?
Yeah, have 4 teams playing in, like, a square.
Put little hills on the pitch.
Yeah, multi-ball.
Yeah, exactly. Multi-ball.
Multi-ball. That's what you want. So yeah, that's FIFA. We move on. I got a few more bits. Not much news this week. Niantic confirms that they are aiming to add PvP to Pokemon Go before the end of the year. They're just teasing that at the moment. No details or anything, but...
You've obviously never played the combat in Pokemon Go, I'm guessing.
I have not.
No. Well, I've done a couple of raids. I think they're called raids, where you go to a place and then you're there with other people and you fight this other fucking Pokemon with your Pokemon. But the combat's so shit on that game. I just you swipe left and right to dodge and then up to attack. And that's it. Fucking ball bags.
As someone who's never played it, I was kind of under the impression it'd be like
Pokemon,
the turn-based combat of Pokemon.
No, it's on a phone, mate. You got to swipe.
Why wouldn't you?
Because you're a cunt.
I mean, it just seems that that sort of Game Boy style
thinking
would
that
be...
it's like a game, buddy. It's not a game. It's on a mobile phone.
So you're not holding out too much hope for this update, then?
Fuck that. No. I'm just waiting for Pokemon, whatever it is. Let's go.
Let's go, the Switch thing, yeah.
That's the one I want. Yeah, mate, Mega Evolution is coming to Pokemon Let's Go. You don't know what that is, though, I bet.
No.
You can get Mega Charizard. Yeah, so
yeah.
You get Charizard, you can get Mega Charizard. Yeah, I know, right?
And then after that, perhaps you could get Super Mega, and then Ultra Mega, and then Godlike.
Yeah, Godlike.
Yeah.
Charizard.
Very nice. Very nice too.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. Next, Fallout 76. Yeah, sorry. Fallout 76 is not coming to Steam.
Obviously.
Bethesda is going to be selling it off of their own site, Bethesda.net.
Cool.
And this is becoming something of a trend. It kind of emerged recently that various games weren't going to be hitting the Google Play Store anymore either.
Yeah.
And it just seems like companies are kind of pulling their stuff. They don't necessarily feel that they need these platforms to be able to sell their products anymore.
I don't think they do. You know?
No, they don't. I don't care where if I'm a PC gamer, I don't give a fuck whether it's in my Steam library or not at this point, because I've already been forceably made to buy stuff off of
seriously.
Origin and Uplay and all that bullshit, and also a lot of releases are probably cheaper elsewhere. So yeah, this is becoming a bit of a trend. It suggests companies just want more revenue for themselves and don't feel that they need to sell it on Valve's store. They don't need Valve's name anymore. But yeah, I wanted to use this opportunity to say, like, what are your thoughts on Steam at this point? Because it seems to me, as someone who doesn't use it very often, that it's a bit of a fucking mess, mainly because of the lack of curation on Valve's part.
There's no curation.
There's just like a billion games on there, and they're all like fucking asset flips and ports of like mobile games. Like, how do you find anything good on there?
Anytime I go on that, I'm just like, what the fuck is this? I mean, trying to find. Luckily, you know, we follow video games. We know what games are good. So, like, if I want to buy a game on PC, I'm like, right, I've got several places to buy this from. Where's the cheapest way to get it? Boom, there it is. Still not the Steam sale, though, I'm not going to lie. It's a brilliant thing. But even that now has kind of lost its excitement. Whereas back in the day, you know you're going to, like, you'll find some fucking good games. Whereas now it's just like, like, just a million farming simulators and shit like that. I'm just like, why? Why put all of these in? Why advertise all these as sales? And I don't know, it's fucking ball bags. But there are like third-party softwares. I've got one called Play Night, I think it is.
Okay.
And that is just a bit of software, and it just collates all of your games from all different fucking places, like GOG, Steam, Battle.net, whatever else there is, Origin, Uplay. And they're all in there, and I'm like, okay, cool, I can see every single one of my fucking games. Right, I want to play that one. Play. Then it just launches like Uplay or whatever, and then I load it from there. But it's just somewhere I can see all my games, and I haven't got to deal with a fucking shitty store full of wank every time.
That sounds like the way forward.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. That way, unless you just play one game, and then you just fucking play that one game. You know, it's totally up to you what you want to play. But yeah, like I definitely look at like some sort of third-party game library application. I'll put a link to it in our Discord or something. I don't know if anyone.
Yeah, man, do it.
If anyone's interested,
I think people would like that.
Yeah, man.
If I'm on PC, then I'm all over that all day long because the last thing you want to be doing is firing up fucking Origin. So shit.
Oh, don't. Yeah, I know. But hey. Is what it is, buddy, and unfortunately, Well, I think for now that PC gaming is as big as it is, I don't see why these game companies can't just have their own fucking launchers. Fuck it, everyone else is doing it.
It's cool. It means that Steam haven't got a monopoly over things. They can't
totally.
You know, the prices can't be dictated quite so much. There's lots of different options and different ways of buying things. It's kind of the opposite of the consoles, where you're in a situation where you're stuck with the proprietary stores. Yeah,
the catch-22 on that is, you know, these games on their individual stores, they might not go in sales as well as, you know, they do on Steam. But then again,
they might not.
You can also find keys for these games elsewhere, like Destiny 2. I got that one on Humble Bundle for like 12 quid, along with a load of others. So, and that's on the Battle.net launcher, I think. Yeah, it's yeah. So, I mean, that's cool. You can always find games elsewhere and stuff, or key codes and stuff. I mean, if you really want to be fruity, just, you know, go on some dodgy black market websites and get them from there. I can't remember them at the moment. But they're normally really cheap, but they might not work.
They tend to be. Yeah, that's the trade-off.
Yeah.
That's the way it works.
It's the price of living dangerously, my friend.
Gibbons. Well, we'll keep an eye on this anyway and see who else, you know, pulls away. I know, Bungie was, that wasn't on Steam, was it? They were selling it on Battle.net, weren't they? Activision?
Yeah, Activision, because obviously it's Blizzard, Activision, innit?
Blizzard,
so Call of Duty's on it's Battle.net, isn't it? Or I don't know what it is now.
I think it's, but they were going to change it, and then I think they changed their mind. So
we load it up now. I will tell you right now. If it loads, Blizzard Entertainment, blah blah blah. It's just the Blizzard launcher, I think it's called now. Is it?
Okay, stupid. Battle.net was a good one.
Battle.net was good. I like Battle.net. Meow. Yeah, I've got Hearthstone installed. I've got Destiny 2 installed. I haven't got World of Warcraft. It's telling me to install it. I'm not going to, though.
So they got Overwatch on there. Black Ops 4 and Destiny 2.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
That's Fine. Okay. Well, there you go. We'll keep an eye on that trend to see if anyone else sort of jumps ship with Bethesda. Obviously, that's a very highly anticipated game, so they probably aren't damaging themselves at all by not having that Steam presence. But,
Exactly.
Probably take a little bit longer for some of the sort of mid-range titles to take the plunge. But yeah, we'll see. Move on for now. People are pissed at Treyarch for adding body armor to Black Ops 4.
No!
It's said to be unbalancing the game completely. Players who have body armor equipped
You play it, innit? No?
have seemingly double the health of those who don't.
I'm guessing there's a standoff for that. You're like half the speed, though.
No, at the moment, this is the thing. At the moment, there's a lot of stuff, and I think a lot of people would just jump in the gun here. Funnily enough, buddy, a load of people are really fucking knee-jerk. They play like 10 minutes of something, and they're like, this is outrageous!
Oh my god!
Anyway, apparently there's quite a few fairly OP feeling things early doors in this game.
Where do I get 'em?
That after you get to like a level 20 or whatever.
Right.
For example, there's one that does a sort of like in Trouble in Terrorist Town where you can buy the radar and it does a ping every like 20 seconds or something of where all the players are.
Nice,
You can get something similar to that in Black Ops 4. A lot of people think that's incredibly overpowered, but once you get to a certain level of XP, then you can unlock like a ghosting thing where you don't appear on those or whatever. So
there you go.
It's all kind of balanced, but a lot of people are saying, firstly, obviously we're going to have played this by next week, so perhaps we can...
I'm going to play 10 minutes and be outraged.
we can give some first-hand experience of this game. But a lot of people are saying that the game is quite bullet spongy in comparison to previous Call of Duties, and this is something that's kind of been creeping in probably since the original Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Where it feels like they're making it so you can take a few more hits each time a new game comes out.
So you can get out of the way.
Yeah, it's not really what COD was about back in the day.
No,
it used to be like, maybe five bullets and you're gone. So it's already, apparently, people are kind of complaining about it being a bit bullet spongy. And then you've got this armor.
It's all about the
on top of that.
TTK, buddy. Time to kill.
Yeah, well, it's that's the other problem is that they seem to have made changes to health regen where it fires back up pretty quick once you get out of harm's way, to the point where there's videos online of people having these stupid battles where they almost kill each other over and over again. I think a lot of diehard COD fans are not going to be especially impressed.
Do you feel like they're trying to appease the casual player more now?
Maybe. It's hard to know what they're doing at all, really. They keep releasing the same fucking game and have done for 10 years, but I don't really know. I don't really know what to make of it. I don't even really know how popular it is at this point. I think a lot of people are more excited for Black Ops 4 than the last, say, like 3 games. Black Ops has always been a bit of a darling of this thing. So, yeah, I don't know. Hard to say, but... certainly, a lot of people are annoyed. I mean, Treyarch, to their credit, they released a statement on their Reddit this week saying, like, we hear you, but they were saying it not in a sort of typical fucking games dev kind of fashion. They were like, we genuinely hear you, and then they listed the literal things that people were complaining about. They were like, yeah, I can kind of see where the problem is here. But they were sort of saying... there's other stuff that unlocks later on that kind of counteracts that, and the beta's only been on for a day, so maybe could we fucking give it a little while, you know?
Hold it down.
So yeah. I suppose we shall see, but either way, we'll have played that by next week anyway, so we can probably have a chat about it at some point soon.
Gibbons.
Finally from me, buddy, God of War is getting a New Game Plus mode as a free patch, and that is coming out on the 20th of August. So if you've played through God of War, you get to play through again, keeping all of your shit. But obviously the enemies are like rock hard. It's like a whole nother level. And there'll also be a horde of exclusive unlocks, extra chests and all sorts that they're adding into the game to find. So,
nice.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't normally do that. The New Game Plus thing, I've normally had my fill by the time that thing comes out. So time will tell on this one. But what a fucking game that is. So good. So good.
Nice.
So that's my news, buddy. I think it's probably time to hand over to you for my favourite section, and I'm sure the listeners as well. And that, of course, is Ash's News Favourite Things of the Week.
If you like news but hate information, you have found the right place. Ash's News Favourite Thing of the Week.
Well, cheers, buddy. A few things this week. We're going to start off with Bethesda. Fallout Shelter, that game that came out, 2015-ish? I don't know. Yeah. Apparently it's made $90 million. I don't know how. What do you spend money on in that game?
I guess it's just microtransactions. I mean, I downloaded that when, at E3 they announced it was now available on consoles.
Yeah.
I downloaded and installed that. I still never fired it up.
No,
I haven't
you
played
don't
it.
need to. You're not missing out.
You've played it on the on the mobile?
Yeah, I had it on mobile for quite a while. It was good. It was like a little management game. I was like, this is kind of cool. And then I just got bored with it. I was like, meh, sack it off. Anyway.
No, fair enough.
Fallout 76, we've spoken about it already, about it not coming to Steam. But if you do get on the beta for that, that selected beta that you pre-order for and then you get selected for, it's going to include the entire game.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There you go. Just fucking play it all. Get it done.
So you just get it. Okay.
You just get on the beta and then that's the game, But obviously you've pre-ordered that game, so then, hopefully you wouldn't cancel your order after that, would you?
Ooh, no, I don't think so.
Never. No, me neither. Right, we've got a bit of a free-to-play section now. Nintendo Switch Online that, you're going to have to pay for, I think, next month.
Yes, that is coming in.
Which is, sure.
Hilarious.
If you want to do that, you are a bigger man than me. Maybe. I don't know. I just don't understand what games I would play online on the Switch. Anyway, just to make it clear, for if you play a free-to-play game on the Switch, you won't have to buy Nintendo Switch Online subscription. So you can play your Fortnite for free, buddy, online.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's good.
I mean, apparently that was a big hoo-ha thing that they were going to actually charge for it. I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, we reported on that a little while ago.
Yeah, that's retarded. Still carrying on with free-to-play right now, because this is that section. Fortnite, that game that's massive and I couldn't give a shit about anymore, thankfully. It's finally changing its matchmaking on consoles to pull players that are playing with controllers and players that are playing with mouse and keyboard.
Well, so segregating them?
Yes.
Why wasn't that happening before?
I don't know. So yeah, that's definitely put me off that game now. I can't fucking cheese my way to win it.
Anymore.
I can't cheat. Fuck that. That's ball bags.
Why were people happy playing that game when they knew that they were maybe coming up against someone who was literally using a mouse?
No one knew.
They didn't know. They kept it relatively quiet.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
right. Yeah.
I found that though, because
fuck's sake,
it's what we do. H1Z1, it's exited open beta, and I still haven't played it yet. I probably should play that at some point.
It's the second game you mention in your news section that is on my console, and I've never launched.
Played. Yeah, this is it, mate. Second to last, Red Dead Redemption 2 is going to have a gameplay video tomorrow, so we would be talking about how that game looks in game, but that's happening tomorrow.
Oh, I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next week, buddy. Finally, buddy, nice little... I don't know if it's a good news story or some kind of news story here. I saw it and I was like, what the fuck is this? It started off with a picture of a SNES cartridge in space. I was like, wow, that's piqued my interest.
Givens, yeah.
So, this is a story about a guy called Ronnie Doyle. He recently turned 14. And his grandpa, I believe, got him a... Sorry, I've got some really dramatic music going on in my ears right now. It's crazy. I've just put on like game music, like random fucking game soundtrack music. And I'm like, yeah, fucking... Obviously, this is a big boss monster killing zone. Anyway. Yeah, so his granddad bought him this present where you can send up anything up into space and then it comes back down, but it has to be smaller than like a lunchbox. And yeah, this kid's like, I want to send up my favorite SNES game, which was Earthbound. And apparently that cartridge is worth about $200 or something at the moment. And yeah, so let me just find it.
I see the fucking irony, of course. You know,
obviously,
what a choice.
Earthbound.
Yeah.
So yeah, here's a little section. The helium balloon holding the cartridge launched from Doyle's home, state of California. It had a GPS attached to it, which let the Earth to Sky calculus team, I'm guessing that's the team running it, could track it. Made up of a group of high schools and their teacher. High school kids, sorry. The game reached an altitude of 100,000 feet, where, according to the group, this is just school kids, so take it as you will. The noontime sky fades to black, stars pop out, and meteors can be seen in broad daylight. And then obviously it came back down. Apparently the cartridge still works, and he wants to keep it. He's going to keep it in his retro games collection, unless someone wants to trade it for stadium events. There you go.
Okay.
He then goes on to say, as far as I know, this is the only copy of Earthbound that is not bound to Earth.
Oh,
there we go.
Yeah. The money shot.
Yeah, I was like, "There's the one. That's the kisser there, right in there."
This kid lives a very different life.
Yeah,
to
he's
me.
14.
Yeah.
There you go.
Why does he like SNES when he's 14? Or maybe
know.
he's got a dad who like made him go through the
probably
the consoles in order as he got older. I'd fucking definitely do that.
Yeah, that's a lot of effort.
It certainly is. It's pointless as well.
Gibbons, buddy. So there you go. There's my news favourite things for this week.
Cheers, buddy. Especially for that cartridge-related story, which won't be the last.
Space.
Won't be the last cart-related story in this week's show, buddy.
What?
But, fucking thanks so much for all that. That was your news. Before that was my news, and of course that, ladies and gentlemen, was the news. And now it's time for Out This Week.
Let's take a look at some games coming out this week. Probably filled with microtransactions, the crazy pay-to-win mechanics. Because fuck you all. Fuck you all. Fuck you all. Fuck you all. Buy our shit.
That's Out This Week.
Fucking is. Here's some games. Here's
Yeah.
some games that are coming out.
Feel free to skip half of these if you want.
Sword Legacy Omen is coming to PC, which is an XCOM type medieval strategy game. So there you go.
Medieval XCOM, so they just throw rocks at each other.
I don't know. And then Phantom Doctrine arrives on PC, PS4, and Xbox One, buddy.
Nice.
This is an XCOM type Cold War strategy game.
Cool.
So we've got two
XCOMs, yeah. Like
kind of
it.
games coming
Like
out
it. Yeah, I like
this
it.
week. Let's say this is probably more baffling, though. Also out this week, buddy, we have a game called Tanglewood. And that's coming out on the PC and the Sega Mega Drive.
Right.
So this is Tanglewood from Matt Phillips of Crytek fame. Kickstarted and created a completely original game for the Mega Drive. He made it with the original dev kits from the 90s. The Kickstarter involved him saying that he wanted to give Mega Drive fans a new game to play on their console. So this is a new Mega Drive game. It's a platformer where you play as a little fox. And it is out this week on Mega Drive. You can buy it on cartridge. It's also coming out on PC, but it won't have any graphical improvements over the Mega Drive version because he said that it was important to him that he was kind of building it in a authentic fashion. So there's no bells and whistles or anything. It's just the Mega Drive version if you buy it on PC. So yeah, what do you make of that?
It's a definite good use of his time.
100%. He said he'd done a lot of like modern games and shit. He was just a bit bored of it.
Fuck it. These modern games are ball bags. Let's put some limitations on there.
If people are willing to pay you to make a Mega Drive game in 2018, then
why not?
Fucking you did it.
You do
Congratulations.
it. Yeah. Well played, sir. Tip of the cap.
So yeah, that's out this week, buddy, if you're interested in that. We've also got Death's Gambit, which is out on the PC and PS4. This is a 2D side-scrolling action RPG. We have 2064 read-only memories coming to Switch. This is an old-school point-and-click adventure. It's previously released on the Vita, and I think it was an iOS game as well. Now gets a Switch release. We've got The Walking Dead, the final season, arriving from Telltale Games, LOL, on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. State of Mind is out this week on PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. This is a third-person futuristic mystery thriller. That one, actually, I quite like the look of. There's not much this week that I quite like the look of.
Did you say mystic or mystery thriller?
Mystery thriller.
I prefer mystic.
I suppose, yeah, kind of similar anyway. So, yeah, it's a third-person futuristic mystic.
See, mystery,
thriller,
I think, like Cluedo. Mystic, I'm like wizards.
Yeah, okay.
I'm probably wrong with that, but that's what
this is more like
that's
a
my
sort
brain.
Of.
You're welcome.
Looks a bit Turing test in that it's got the sort of crash test dummy androids and shit in it.
Okay,
but it looks quite cool. We also have Hero Defense on the Xbox One, PC, and PS4. This is a tower defense game that involves like heroes in the same way that Warcraft 3 used to have the special units kind of thing.
But I'm guessing it's shitter.
It looks like a mobile game to me.
Cool. Yeah.
I don't know if it was beforehand, but yeah, not sure about that. We've got Destination Primus Vita on the PC, nothing to do with the PS Vita. The Primus Vita, I think, is a planet, judging by the little bit of gameplay I watched. This is an episodic first-person puzzle game, and this looked quite interesting as well. Quite nice selection of different types of puzzles.
Nice.
And some sort of time dilation stuff as well. So yeah, that's probably one to have a little look at if you're into sort of story-based puzzling. And finally, Red's Kingdom is coming to Switch this week. That is a 3D cutesy puzzle adventure. It's also an iOS tablet port. So that immediately makes me think it's going to be shit. But
yeah, the Switch getting some good games.
I mean, the Switch is a great platform for the better mobile games, and there are better mobile games. So I shouldn't really just assume that because it is an iOS port, it'd be toilet. But I inherently just do. I will. Just do.
It's fact.
It usually is. It usually is just the way of things. So yeah, lots of stuff coming out this week, buddy. Most of it either no one really has mega hype for, or it's stuff that maybe you haven't heard of. That doesn't mean it's a bad week. I mean, at least there are 12 different games coming out this week, unlike the last few weeks we've had. But,
that's true. Ramping it up.
Nothing super exciting there, unless you're a long-time Walking Dead fan,
or you love XCOMs,
or you love XCOM, or you have a Mega Drive.
Yeah, that's true.
So, there we go. And now it's time for Fuckwit Corner.
Fuckwit Corner with funk. Fuckwit Corner with funk. He's got some questions for funk.
Has he got any questions, buddy?
You'll remember earlier in the show, buddies, that I mentioned Mafia 3. Funk says this. Yeah, played a bit of Mafia 3. Didn't really like it. don't know if it goes all open world and shaking down businesses like the last ones or what, but not sure what they were trying to do. Have you downloaded this yet, buddy?
I don't think I have, you know.
But it's only yesterday that it popped onto the store.
That'd be then.
I have played about 3 hours of Mafia 3, something like that. What Funk doesn't like, I do like. And we've discussed that before about the story and the building.
Yeah.
At the start of this game, it is essentially linear because you've just got a select bunch of missions, and each time you finish the mission, it fades to black, moves on to the next story beat, and then pops you somewhere else. It also shifts around in time a little bit, and it's kind of setting things up. You're an army vet, you've come back from Vietnam, and there's problems. You're part of a sort of black mafia type thing. You're at war with the Haitians and with this mob boss guy as well. And it sets the story up quite nicely. Shit kicks off. You get completely screwed over and wronged.
Bamboozled.
And then it emerges from all of that story stuff into a mafia game where you get your missions, go and, shake down this prostitute ring, go and pay to this, whatever shop with counterfeit money and so on. So I think Funk probably just didn't enjoy the story stuff at all and didn't get to the bit where it goes open world. So yeah, it does go open world. The way that it does the story stuff at the start of this game, I really, really like. It tells it in the form of vox pops from various people in the game, but much older. It's supposed to be like them doing, little to the camera, just talking about it, almost like a sort of crime documentary. And they're talking about the times that happened, what came before, and then he went and did this, and that was crazy. You've got the detective inspector who was in charge of looking at everything that was going on in the city at the time, except it's 50 years later. It's fucking cool. I really like that. A lot of the acting is really good. A lot of the script is quite good as well. And yeah, it sets it up really, really nicely. If you like that sort of thing, which I do. I'm more concerned about the open world aspect of it. I think that's more Funk's kind of type of game, is having the freedom to sort of make his own story and go and do stuff. I'm worrying at this point that the actual game, after you get through these story beats, is possibly not going to be that compelling, that interesting.
Yeah, it's a worry.
That's my big concern at this point. It does look a little bit like a sort of generic open worlder. And I remember reading reviews at the time where a lot of people said that they sort of liked that beginning, and then it just sort of disappeared into an average game. I'm hoping that's not the case. I'm really enjoying it. I've played as I said, 3 hours.
Yeah.
Fucking really enjoying it. But it does feel a tiny little bit B-movie in places, in terms of the polish or lack of. Stuff like you got to escape a bank on a boat, but when the scene loads, so it transitions from a cutscene, and then you're supposed to be speeding through the sewer, surrounded by police and police boats and stuff. But the camera, it fades out from black, and everything's not moving yet, and then you sort of accelerate, and it all just feels a bit stupid.
Just kicks in.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's just stuff like that. Some weird sort of cuts where someone delivers a line, and then there's a 10-second pause before the next fucker speaks. A little bit weird. The gunplay's decent. The cover system's decent, but
Yeah.
it does just kind of feel a little bit like a sort of knockoff GTA 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, early doors in a game this big, and everyone's got it, so you can kind of all see. But yeah, I think what they were trying to do is set it up and tutorialize it with a cracking story and then spit you out into the world. But if you bounce off that bit early doors, then that's the risk that you take as a developer is, if you spend 2.5 hours setting the fucking open world story up with linear missions and someone doesn't like that, there's a real danger they're never going to get to the fucking game.
It might put you off a bit.
Yeah, man, because there's not a great deal of gameplay in that first sort of hour and a half. There's lots of people talking and shit, and then you driving from one building to another, and then another cutscene kicks in. So yeah, if you're not feeling the story, then I could easily see you turning this off before you even get to the bit the Mafia games.
Exactly, that's what I was going to say. Because I enjoyed the previous Mafia games. I thought they were pretty cool.
Yeah, I only ever played. I think I played a tiny bit of Mafia 2 on that on live service.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Never actually owned it.
Yeah.
So I had a little go of that, but I always liked the sort of concept, and going around the city. And this one, it looks like you're, a similar kind of deal. You're starting from scratch with nothing and slowly taking over the whole city from a mob boss, which then eventually ends in a final showdown.
Yeah,
I'd imagine. The characters are pretty cool, and it's quite nice looking. It's worth a go, especially as everyone's got it for free this month.
That's it, isn't it? It's a nice filler, I'd say.
But I'd be interested to see if Funk's willing to persevere with it and get to the open world bit and see if he likes that or not. And yeah, I'll probably be talking about it next week, I'd imagine.
Nice.
So thanks very much, Funk. Oh, one thing I will say, actually, just before we finish, again, like Life is Strange, fucking amazing soundtrack on Mafia 3. Completely on point. Every radio station, it's classic 60s rock, like big songs, like Cream and T-Rex, and there's a Motown station. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure to drive around listening to these fucking fantastic radio stations, right up there with GTA in capturing the mood.
Yeah, you need that really though in open world games.
It's great. Yeah, I mean, it kicks in with the Stones straight away when you first load the game, and a lot of the cutscenes are have got the perfect accompanying soundtrack, a bit of Hendrix or something.
Nice.
It works really fucking well. It's
cool
good stuff. But yeah, thanks very much, Funk. Every week we end the show with questions and comments sent in by you. If you've got anything for us, just pop an email to the jfgpodcast@gmail.com or contact us on Facebook, Twitter, or at justforgamers.co.uk. And now it's time for JfG Street Beat.
You got a question we want to know. Street Beat. Facebook, Twitter, we're on them all. So hit us up and be on the show. Street Beat. The JfG Street Beat.
Street Beat.
We want to know.
Get on the show.
Mark and Dan have got on the show this week, buddy, and it's worth saying, a huge thank you to friend of the podcast, Mark, friend of the podcast, Dan. They have donated this week.
Yeah, they have.
Which is fucking legendary. Thank you so much for that. It's really cool, actually. Keeps us ticking over, pays all of our costs for hosting and so on. And just very, very much appreciated. So thank you very much for that.
Gibbons, and they had a message.
They did have a message, buddy. What was that?
The message was, please, no more Destiny 2. I mean, okay. I understand.
They won't believe what you have in store for them in a few weeks' time.
I'm going to save up a treat just for them. I'm going to store it up in a little bottle, and then
he's going to be like, it's a new fucking release, motherfuckers. Here you go. I'm going to talk about this for half hour. Yeah.
Hey, got to keep with the times.
Worth mentioning this week as well that Mark picked up the wheel and the wheel stand, and he's got a T150 now, and been tucking into a bit of F1 and a bit of GT Sport as well. I've noticed.
Tasty times. Well, he'll have to get back to us with how that is progressing and how much more fun that is, because I played F1 with a controller a couple of weeks ago, and I did not have a fun time. It was horrible compared to
no real comparison,
wheel.
Is there?
No, there isn't. It's the only way to play racing games from now on. And yeah,
it really is. I never even consider firing up a racing game unless I'm willing to get the wheel out at this point. Like even more arcadey stuff like Drive Club, I just won't fire it up unless I've got the wheel on the go. So yeah, but it is worth going back that one time just to sort of realise how much it's like kind of enriched the experience for you. It's a pretty big deal.
Gibbons, buddy. And then the other person that's got in touch this week was JJ again. He's forgotten to cancel his Humble Bundle subscription again this month. So he's like, hey, I got a couple of games to give away. Steam keys, I'm guessing. So he's got Forge Battalion, he says, because fuck climate change.
Fair play.
And then The Escapist 2, because I stopped playing those games in 1987. Which is
lovely, a classic swipe at indie games there. It's beautiful.
So I'm a big
appreciate
fan.
that.
So what I'll be doing, the same as previous giveaways that we're doing now, is sticking them on gleam.io, and all you do, you go on there, click a few buttons, and then you get a few entrants into it. The only reason I put it on there, obviously I'd just give it to you guys. If you want it, like, just fucking send me a message saying I want a game, and you can have it. I don't care. But otherwise, I'm going to put it on there because, you know, a few more people might start listening to the podcast.
Gets us subs.
It gets us subs and stuff, you know. So, but like literally, if you guys want any of these games, I'll give it a couple of weeks before I put it on there. Just fucking send us a message saying like, Ash, can I get either Forge Battalion or Escapist 2 or both? Whatever.
Just jump on the Discord, buddies. So you can find
seriously.
it on our website, www.thejfgpodcast.co.uk. Just head over there and there's our Discord link. You can just get in touch, have a chat.
Gibbons, I will be looking out for like some cheeky PS4 DLC, not DLC codes, like codes and stuff. Like if they ever go cheap anywhere, I'll pick them up and stuff like that. And then, because I feel like the more of our listeners listen on PS4, so they might kind of bite at that a bit more. But anyway, I don't know. I just kind of want to give something back to these guys. Sticking with us.
I've got quite a few like CEX store-bought games that we could probably ship up and send to people if they wanted as well.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, that's a good point. I've got some like disc-based games and stuff that we could always send off.
That'd be cool. Yeah,
cool.
We'll have to have a look into that.
Yeah, man. We'll look into it. I don't know. I wonder if was it Dan that won the controller decal.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's actually used it or not.
He has. He sent a photo to me months and months ago. He's got the JfG podcast thing on his controller.
There you go, mate. Fucking brilliant.
Sweet, buddy.
Maybe we'll look at doing something like that again or something. Yeah,
yeah, that was cool. That was cool.
Yeah, it was really retarded.
I liked it. I don't think I've put my... I know I haven't put mine on, but I've got it somewhere. I'm sure I brought it with me. I thought I lost it in the move for ages, and then I found it a little while ago, so it's in one of the drawers over there. But yeah, fucking sweet. So yeah, obviously, just the nicest fucking people listen to this show. It's worth noting as well that obviously we pay so little notice to how many people listen to the show that I don't even regularly check the stats, but I did get something of a shock when I did check the stats a little while ago and found that our listener base appears to have like tripled since the last time I looked. So thank you very, very much if you're new listeners, if you're recent joinees to the JfG podcast community. Thanks so much for listening. And here's an example of how lovely our community is, Ash. We've been given game codes this week from our glorious benefactor JJ and literal money from our glorious benefactors Mark and Dan.
I know, so, fucking legends, as always. Everyone.
Beautiful stuff. Thanks so much, buddies. Thank you very, very much. Really appreciate it, genuinely do. So I think that'll about do us, buddy, for episode 175 of the podcast. Racking them up, beautiful things. What are we going to play now? I don't need to do all the fucking blurb. I'm still getting used to.
I don't know. Probably Ark, I guess. Funk will probably be on playing that. I don't know.
It could be. Yeah, could be Ark. Could be Ark.
Pop a toe in, see what's going on there. See what
Sweet as the proverbial.
Yeah.
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 I do fucking love that game. It's brilliant.
Very good.
Play it most weeks. Don't necessarily talk about it because it's not like mega interesting. But
Indeed.
yeah, we had a bit of a run in, didn't we? Where we went in a cave and our death markers like jumped through the floor and we like lost all of our gear.
That was shit.
That was shit. Well, Funk went into creative and just replaced all our stuff for us.
Nice.
So
good news.
we've got all that shit back.
Good.
We don't cheat. We never like spawn stuff in, but when the game fucks us over with a bug,
when you it
and we have the
glitches out and
capacity to fix it,
your body's like 10 feet under the floor and you can't get your inventory back. You're like, well, fuck you.
Givens, very much. Sweet, cool. Well, I have nothing else to say. I don't know exactly what form the podcast will take next week, buddies, but suffice it to say something will go out. We just don't know what yet. And the following week as well, I suppose. We will fucking see. But thanks so much for listening, buddies. We will be back next week in some form or another, but until then, I have been Alex. He has been Ash.
Goodbye.
Farewell. You've been listening to the JfG podcast with Ash and me, Alex. You can find us at www.thejfgpodcast.co.uk, where you'll also find our Discord and Street Beat if you want to get involved with the show. Our Facebook is /the JfG podcast, and our Twitter handle is @the JfG podcast. We're on all those video streaming sites too, buddies, from TubeTube to twitch.tv /the JfG podcast to mixer.com, aka beam.fucking-pro. We've got a PS4 community you can join, just search the JfG podcast on there, and we're also on Google Plus if that is how you choose to live your life. Thanks so much for listening, buddies. We'll catch you next time.